Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with Gardendale Rockets head football coach Chad Eads. Powered by Sweet Caroline's Ice Cream Shop on Fieldstown Road in Gardendale. And now your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Coach Speak. We're here at Drivers Stadium on the campus of Gardendale High School, and with me to my left is football coach Chad Eads. Chad, thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, so what do you think about this crazy idea of a coaches show for high school?
Well, I think it's a great idea. We don't get a lot of opportunities to promote our kids. You know, there's so many awesome kids playing high school sports, and of course I'm partial to football.
Right.
But there's so many, and I get an opportunity to brag about them, talk about what's coming up in their life, and to share a little bit with some of the high school football fans.
Right. So you're 1 week now into practice, is that right?
We are. Today will be our third day of practice.
Wow, so
yeah,
really preseason at this
very
point.
Very preseason. Nobody's too sore yet. Put pads on in a few days, and then that's when they'll be sore.
But in a short 2.5 weeks, boom, you've got your first game.
Right? It is, and I kind of like the fact that it gets on us quick. You don't lose the attention of the boys.
Right.
And everything seems like you're in a hurry, but that keeps their focus.
I get you. How are they looking so far? I know it's early, but how are you looking?
Good. I mean, I'm proud of this group. Of course, we've been with them all summer, with summer workouts, and this is such a great class for us of seniors. It's as far as their the way they treat their academics, the way they behave in our community, what they mean to our school. Right. A lot of them are involved in other sports. So this is an exceptional group for us. They're great leaders. They show up every day. So this is a fun group to be around, to spend your day with, to see them here, and also pretty good football players along the way.
Would you say most of your leaders are coming from that senior class?
Yeah, I think so. Team? And there are some in there, and that's really what you want. This is their year. This is their year, and those are the ones I would want to lead.
Right.
And so they're really stepping up, and I think getting and kind of feeding off each other a little bit. They've known each other a long time, and out here in Gardendale, they grow up together, play baseball and football together most of their life, and since they were little bitty guys, and now they're here as seniors, and this senior year is a big deal when they've grown up so long together.
It really is.
Yeah.
We're talking about seniors, but now I want to kind of pivot and talk about an incoming sophomore who happens to be your starting quarterback. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, his name's Deacon Dyer. He actually moved to us maybe 3 months ago or so.
Okay.
Just came here and got involved with their football team. As far as I know, didn't know many of his teammates.
Right.
And and that's a tough position because he's not moving in to be one of the receivers or one of the offensive linemen. He's moved in and he's a quarterback. He's got to take command of the offense.
He's leader of the team.
He's got to call plays. He's got to make adjustments, and has really done a great job of doing that. Also, along with being a very good young man, and has fit in with the rest of our team, and has shown that he works hard. He's excited to be here and excited to be a part of what we're doing. Also, a very good athlete.
Right.
So we're excited about him, not only his throwing ability, but what he can do just athletically on the field.
Well, I would imagine, since you're so high on him and he's an incoming sophomore, that there's a lot of talent that you're going to see come forward in the next weeks, months, and years.
Oh yeah, he's grown so much just since being here. You think about all the hurdles he's had to come over just from, for any kid moving into a new school, how difficult that is.
Right.
And he's come here to learn new coaches, new coaching styles, new teammates,
whole new
offense.
Yeah.
And he's still very young in football, so there wasn't years of knowledge and experience to go along with that. He's still very new in football.
So that's a raw talent to be developed.
It is.
Absolutely.
Very, very talented young man, and from a great family. So we're excited to have them here.
Good. So your first game, like we said, 2.5 weeks away, Friday, August 23rd. You're going to be playing away at James Clemens up in the Madison-Huntsville area. What kind of unique challenges does that present, having an away game as your very first game?
Well, of course, that comes around really about every other year. You're on a rotation with these teams, and we've played James Clemens now. I guess will be the third, maybe fourth time coming up. For us, it's become, I think, a good game for both schools. But when it becomes your year to be on the road, I don't know that it changes much for the kids. It changes more for me. There's more things to plan, and buses, and where we're going to feed them, and
yes.
You have to feed them about every 3 hours. So
yes, you do.
So we get, hey, where are we going to eat before? Where are we going to eat after? And all those parts of getting that game in order, so it's not a distraction to the kids.
Right.
I think our kids do well on the road. I think they've kind of developed into. They enjoy walking into a stadium and everyone's kind of against them.
Right.
They've kind of taken on that personality of it's
us against the world.
Us against the world a little bit, and I think I've been proud of the way they perform on the road. So I don't think it affects us a whole lot. Just that getting it all planned and getting everyone there with the right equipment on.
Kind of having that underdog mindset, right?
It's fun to be the underdog. You don't want to be the underdog all the time, but but those when you can get those wins as an underdog, that's an exciting way to win with a group of young men.
Now, the Clemens game last year was an exciting one.
Yeah.
My understanding is y'all were down early, and you fought your way back and just barely missed winning the game. Knowing that and knowing what James Clemens brings to the table, how does that set your preparation differently?
Well, we know what we're getting into. We also know the team we have. I mean, that's as disappointing as that loss was. When you get away from it, you have to also give credit to your team for a group of young men being down 20 points and coming back, and you have to also give credit to James Clemens. They found a way to, in the last minute, to score a touchdown and to win.
Right.
And when you step away from it as a head coach, you're disappointed in that loss, not disappointed in the young men and what they did to make that potential comeback happen.
Right.
We'd like to have seen it finish up, and so I think we know that there's really no surprises now. Us going to play James Clemens, they know that our kids are going to play hard. We know theirs are. We know they're talented.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a mutual respect between both teams, and it's fun to go play a game. I know Coach McGehee pretty well, and have a lot of respect for him, and it's nice to go and have teams who really want to beat each other, but they also respect what each other does.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Clemens, you mentioned talent. Clemens this year has two outstanding seniors on their team. One is Ty Dowdy, a wide receiver. He's been a two-time all-state talent for them, and now he's coming into his senior year. Had over 1,000 total yards last year. And then there's Cam Berry, who is their dynamic running back. He had over 700 yards last year. How do you game plan for that?
Well, it would be nice if they were all state in another state.
Yes, it would.
That would be the best thing for us.
Yes, it would.
Well, for young men like that, you just got to keep. There's a fine line as a coach of allowing your kids to have to focus too much on the most talented kid, because those two are very talented and can change a game very quickly.
Right.
But finding what our ways, what are we going to do to not necessarily defeat the one who's got to get the ball to him. Defeat the ones who have to protect long enough to get the ball to him. So there's a lot of it that goes into that. Not necessarily, hey, it's our corner's job to beat Trey Dowdy. It's everybody's job to give that corner's job a chance.
Yes.
And that's the way I want to approach with this team. We've got so many kids on this team that their gift to this team is the intensity that they play. That doesn't mean they win every rep.
Right.
But they got to be willing to play hard longer than the young men they're playing against.
Right.
That kid will only play hard 3 seconds. We've got to play hard 3.5. And that's what it's sometimes the unknown, because the part of it, but getting that young man to understand that's his thing that he brings to us, and we've got several of those kids on on our defense.
That's nice. That's nice. Speaking of defense, and one more piece to the Clemens puzzle is their offensive line.
Yeah.
Now, I've been told that their offensive line has been playing together for a long time, 2 or 3 years, and that a lot of these kids went to grade school together, so they've known each other all their lives. How do you game plan against the trenches, getting down in the trenches, having that defense ready to disrupt that offensive line?
And that's still the part of football where the games are controlled. Whether they're won and lost there, people can argue that. The games are controlled by that area. I thought they were very good on the offensive line last year.
Right.
I think we've been good here on the offensive line the last couple of years with a kind of the same situation, a group growing up together. A few of those have graduated from here. Defensively, as far as our defensive line, the number of kids that go in that we keep having fresh bodies in, because now you're in a we won't be as big as them.
Right.
That's not always as big a factor as people outside of coaching think. You know, being able to stay on the move on defense.
Right.
You know, disrupting some things just by quickness, movement on defense, trying to confuse some things. Because that, along with that, hey, we've played several years. There comes that wisdom of the position and understanding what to do and how they work together. That's what makes the offensive line like that difficult to beat.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I found out here recently is On 3. A lot of people know On 3 as a Rivals or a 24/7 type that covers college football. I saw this write-up that they are predicting this high school game, your high school game against James Clemens, and they have James Clemens winning by a touchdown, 35-28.
Yeah.
What would you say to your naysayers out there about your team, your staff in this season?
Well, I know that there's a lot of people that predict scores. I don't see those people at practice.
No,
I don't. They don't come to our practice. I'm there every day. I don't understand the predicting scores and where they get it right. I could probably predict that they're going to get a lot of those scores wrong.
Probably.
And they. I know people like to predict and come back and say, "Well, look, I was right." But I don't put a lot of credit into those things. I know what they're for. I don't read and follow a bunch of that. I spend my time concentrating on the young men I coach and the men I coach with.
Right.
And so I don't. I could predict that they're going to be less correct than some of the other recruiting websites, and they may get beat by some of those. I might could predict that.
They could.
So.
They could. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Eads,
thank you very
appreciate your
much.
time.
Thank you.
This is the first of many for this season. We'll be here week in and week out for every game during the season, and hopefully into the playoffs as well.
Hope so. Hopefully in the playoffs.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Hope we get to spend a lot of weeks together.
Absolutely. We would like to invite you guys to join us every week here for the Gardendale Coach Speak Coaches Show. Now I want to introduce our sponsor. Sponsor is a sweet sponsor. It's called Sweet Caroline's Ice Cream Shop. They're fairly new here in Gardendale, and we wanted you to know about them. Take a look at this video.
PrepsNet Coach Speak with Gardendale Rockets head football coach Chad Eads is proudly brought to you by Sweet Caroline's Ice Cream Shop on Fieldstown Road in Gardendale. The only thing sweeter than a win in Driver Stadium is a post-game Hershey's ice cream treat or dirty soda from Sweet Caroline's. We're open late after every Gardendale home game. Wear your Rockets gear and get 15% off every Friday night after the game. Go Rockets!